Scott Cawthon struck gold with Five Nights at Freddy's. He jump-started a horror genre that barely had any media surrounding it. He changed the game for indie horror games so much that it's still being seen today. Because of Five Nights at Freddy's success, he inadvertently created a new game genre entirely, but I'm getting way too ahead of myself. A lot of this really didn't happen until a bit after. Scott knew that he hit a gold mine, and with that, he was able to create a sequel that was able to one-up everything the first did. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is not a normal sequel at all. I mean this in every aspect. This absolute madman dropped it 3 months after the first. That's actually insane. But that's not all that he did. He also made teasers for it and a trailer. These showed you what to expect, but it didn't at the same time. One of these even needed to be brightened, so that you can see what's actually in the teaser. That's one of the smartest things you could do because it engages your community. Not only does it keep fans invested, but it also keeps the series relevant in general. Scott advertised the game as coming out in 2015 on the teasers, but then releasing it on November 10th, 2014. This dude is an absolute unit. Let's take a look at the actual game though. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 takes what you knew about the game and clocks it to 11. The doors, your one thing to make you feel safe, gone. They're vents now. The creepy ass room, bigger. And there's a massive entrance in front of you. The animatronics that try to kill you, over doubled. Everything is amped up compared to the first game. On the bright side, you don't have to worry about power. There's a flashlight you have to use. The only protection you have now is that flashlight, and a Freddy mask you have to wear when the animatronics scan your face. And you can't forget to wind up the music box or you're just dead. There's so much going on that it honestly becomes stressful on night 5 and 6. So what does a normal night look like with these changes? FNAF 2 is honestly one of my favorite gameplay loops in the series. It's kind of a toss-up between FNAF 1 and 2 for me. They both have their own advantages and disadvantages. For me, FNAF 1 is scarier. It's quiet besides noise from the fan, so when you hear a noise besides that, it puts you on edge. In FNAF 2 you don't really get that. You have its iconic danger sound, but it's more to get the blood pumping more than anything. It's not really scary past a couple times you hear it, but it still works in the game's favor, because it adds to the stressful environment the game has. I love how the sound design plays into the gameplay of both, but in my opinion FNAF 1 is better in this aspect. I do like the overall gameplay loop and strategy of FNAF 2 more. Maybe it's because it's the game that got me into the series. The biggest upgrade is the story in my opinion. FNAF 1's story is pretty concise. You got the bite of 87 being mentioned, Phone Guy's death, and the secret newspaper clippings about 5 kids going missing due to someone dressing up as one of the animatronics, killing them and hiding their bodies inside the animatronics. FNAF's 2 story is a lot more involved. Like last time, you take on the night guard job at the newly reopened Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Unlike last time, you're making $150 a week. $2.78 an hour, bro. You're making less money than last time.
Hello and welcome to your new summer job at the new and improved Freddy Fazbear's Pizza.
We learn a decent amount of information. Freddy's closed down because of the bullshit that happened at the last location. They also fitted up the animatronics with facial recognition technology for criminal recognition. The phone guy also tells you what to do to get the animatronics to leave you alone, then hangs up. Other than that, nothing really happens this night.
See, I told you your first night wouldn't be a problem. You're a natural. By now I'm sure you've noticed the older models sitting in the back room.
This night tells us why the withered animatronics were there in the first place. They were originally going to be recommissioned, but they smelled like shit. Probably because of the corpses that were put in there. Instead, now they're used for parts. We're also told that the puppet can go anywhere.
Hello? See, I told you you wouldn't have any problems. Did, Foxy ever appear in the hallway? Probably not. I was just curious.
Nothing super important gets told to us. We just learn about why Mangle looks like that, and then we finish the night.
Hello? Hey there, Night 4. I told you you'd get the hang of it. Okay, so, just to update you, there's been somewhat of an investigation going on. We may end up having to close for a few days. I don't know.
The restaurant starts to get investigated. Phone guy also thinks someone might have tampered with the animatronics, because they're not acting normally around adults and aggressive to staff. We see this while playing, because this night is a lot harder than the last night.
Oh, hey, good job, Night 5. Keep a close eye on things tonight, okay? From what I understand, the building is on lockdown.
We learn the pizzeria is in lockdown. We're basically the only person allowed to be in there right now. No one else is allowed in or out, especially previous employees. We're ominously told how we're going to move to day shift soon, because the spot just opened up. We also get told another piece of info. The original Freddy's restaurant was called Fredbear's Family Diner. This info isn't really important now, but it's something to keep note of. More importantly, we get a major piece of information that changes the entire game when you beat this night. Look at the date. This game is set in 1987. This isn't a sequel to FNAF 1, it's a prequel. This is the restaurant where the bite of 87 happened. It just hasn't happened yet. Coming into night 6, things are a lot more ramped up.
Hello? What on earth are you doing there? Didn't you get the memo?
We aren't supposed to be here tonight, and the place is closed down for the day. Someone took a suit from the back, and now the animatronics are acting even worse. We're told to finish the night, then we'll be put on day shift immediately for a birthday, to protect people from the animatronics. A lot of noticeable things happen on this night. The most aggressive animatronics this night are the withered animatronics, and there's a new one that shows up tonight. When you beat it, you get your paycheck, and behind it is a newspaper talking about Freddy's closing. Also, only $20.10 for this bullshit? A lot of bombshells happen this night. If you've watched my video on the first game or know about the story, then you know where this is going. This Freddy's is the location where the kids went missing and were stuffed into the animatronics. It lines up pretty well with the newspaper clippings that can be found in the first game. The place gets investigated and someone takes a suit. The animatronics walk around during the day, like how Phone Guy says they used to. And another big part, Phone Guy's alive to begin with. The newspaper clippings still fill out some gaps that we haven't touched on yet. 5 children went missing and were lured into a back room, where they were stuffed into the withered animatronics. That's what the guy in the suit did to them that we can pretty much guess. Thankfully, we have more things involved that we haven't talked about yet, that pretty much confirm this. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 introduces minigames. In this game, you have a chance to get one when you die. I think it's an increased chance if you die to an animatronic the minigame correlates to. The first is where you play as Freddy. You need to give kids cake to keep them satisfied. There's also a kid locked out of the pizzeria. At the end, a car pulls up in front of him. A man gets out, and he kills the kid. All of this is happening while a text-to-speech voice spells out "save him" over and over. And just to end it off, you get jump scared by the puppet. The next minigame you play as Foxy. Your job is just to run out of Pirate's Cove to make kids happy. The third time you do this, the same dude that killed the kid in the last minigame is in Pirate's Cove with you. When you run out, all the kids are dead. The third one you play as Freddy and follow the puppet around the pizzeria. In this, you can see what looks like dead people around the place. The same text-to-speech voice is back, but instead spells out "save them." You then get attacked by a purple guy. It's pretty obvious this is the same guy that keeps killing everyone, mostly because they're all purple. It also looks like he's wearing a uniform because of the badge. People also thought he was holding a phone or a banana or something. I just think it's a f***ed up hand. Getting on to the last minigame, you play as the puppet. You need to give the dead kids in the corner gifts. When you complete that, you need to give the kids life. When you do, they get one of the animatronics masks put on them. When you finish it, you get jump scared by Golden Freddy. Right before that though, like a frame before, another dead kid appears in the middle. Oh yeah, and the text-to-speech voice spells out "help them" while all this is happening. Alright, it's time to break all this down. The first minigame shows us how the kid that becomes the puppet died. It's pretty obvious he does become the puppet because we get jump scared by it, even though it's not really explained to us how. The second and third minigames are less important. They just show us the purple guy did it, and that there's 5 new victims from him. The final minigame reveals to us that the puppet attached the children's souls to the animatronics they were stuffed into, as a way to help them. Oh yeah, there's also Night 7. You play as a different person and are fired on the first day on the job, for tampering with the animatronics and smelling like shit. Same reason as why you get fired in FNAF 1. The story is getting pretty interesting. It's not the most complicated story, but the way it's told is extremely unique. One of the first stories that I know of to be told by having a majority of it be through secrets. Doing it this way engages the players and community the same way the game teasers do. That just goes for secrets in general, and FNAF 2's got a lot of them. We've already gone over the minigames, but what other secrets exist in this game? A lot actually. Shadow Bonnie, or is extremely rare. He appears in your office then crashes your game. Shadow Freddy doesn't crash your game. He just kinda sits there. He's also very rare. I mean, that's why they're secrets. You have to have all the withered animatronics out of their room for him to appear in there. The endoskeleton can appear on the prize corner camera after the puppet's left. It can also appear in the left vent camera. Balloon Girl can appear under your desk. One of the paper pals can move into the office. And then there's the death screens. They have a chance of happening like the death minigames. They're also one of the scariest things in the series, not even gonna lie. Like I said a few seconds ago, this kind of thing just gets a community's mouth watering, and Five Nights at Freddy's had its community fed with this type of thing. Like I said before, FNAF 2 was the game that got me into the series. I joined right after it came out, so I was able to experience a lot of what happened. Watching all the lore and theory videos, listening to the FNAF 2 song, that shit's still a banger. If you've watched my video on the first Five Nights at Freddy's, then you'd know I love the hoaxes people made. A lot more happened with this game. And looking back at them now, motherfuckers were lazy with them. Even as a kid, I kinda hated how lazy they were. I don't know why anyone believed this shit. Same with the Bonnie Face one. It doesn't look anything like him. On the opposite end of the spectrum, Kenny the Cat was probably the most convincing one that I remember. I don't even think it was supposed to be a hoax either, people just turned him into one. There were also FNAF 3 trailers and shit, which were also kinda unbelievable. I really didn't believe any of them, because they didn't come from Markiplier or any other YouTuber I trusted. But they were fun, and something we don't see anymore because of data mining. Probably one of the biggest things to ever be birthed from FNAF are the fan games. This is where they really started popping up. The one that always lives in my head rent-free is Five Nights at Treasure Island, based off the Abandoned by Disney creepypasta. It's probably the one I like the most. It was also just a demo at the time. They've made a lot of different versions of the game, it looks like, and the development process is pretty interesting. Then there's One Night at Flumpty's, one of the best FNAF fan games out there. There's also Five Nights at Wario's and Five Nights at the Krusty Krab. Yeah, a lot of the earlier FNAF games were just other IPs in a FNAF game. I love them regardless though. If it wasn't for them, then the genre wouldn't be as big as it is. We'd also not get a lot of good games. Droopy Nosed Luigi walked, so Five Nights at Freddy's Plus could be fumbled. Sequels seem to be really hard to get right, but Scott Cawthon was able to pull it off perfectly. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 was an insane sequel, and a big step up from its predecessor, in every aspect. It had just as much influence as the first game when it came to indie horror games. It contributed to the rise of hiding the story to let it be pieced together by the community, and helped create a whole new subgenre. I'd say it had more of an impact than FNAF 1. With all of this in mind, we'll have to see if Five Nights at Freddy's 3 was able to live up to the hype.